It is Friday, August 28th, 2020, and is this year ever going to end? I'm not sure, but you can join us here every single weekday morning at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern for all of your quick mornings, political news, and headlines. And this week and this morning, there is no bigger news than the Republican National Chaos Convention, which finally wrapped up last night with Donald Trump's big acceptance speech, accepting the nomination of the Republican Party for President of the United States. And boy, it was an affair. We have a lot of people joining this morning. Lucia, good morning. Mark Goldman, good morning. Adam Cobb, good morning. It is good morning to all of you. I hope you are feeling rested after what was quite a bizarre evening. And let's just get right into Donald Trump's big speech. Now, if you lived in a world in a vacuum or in some sort of alternate reality where everything was rosy and perfect and Donald Trump was the best president of all time with no failings whatsoever, then this would be a great morning for you. If you live in reality and you are able to see with your own two eyes, then last night was a traumatizing experience because we sat through 70 minutes plus of what was not Donald Trump's best speech. It was one of the longer speeches. It was very kind of droll and not very lively for a man who's known for giving very fired up speeches and firing up his base. We got some comments from Christopher Drago. Good morning, Christopher. Lucia says, and Ivanka's speech about herself. Narcissism in the Trump family is never surprising to me. So, or the fact that the Trump family is willing to lie on behalf of Donald Trump is not a surprise to me. But let's talk about Donald Trump's speech. It was riddled with lies. Now, fact checkers have been combing through the speech, and there were at least 20 false or misleading claims, but there were at least 20, and some of the big ones were, I thought, worthy of note because it was just Donald Trump's alternate reality. So there was, first of all, the claims that Biden is going to take down the border wall, which is, of course, Donald Trump's biggest, one of his biggest campaign promises. He's going to build a border along the United States-Mexico border. And so, first of all, Joe Biden has not said that he will take down the border wall. He has said that he will not build additional wall. And I'll note on this campaign promise that Donald Trump has only had 5 miles of actual wall built along the border. The rest has not been built or is just in its preliminary stages. So he took a lot of credit for things that Barack Obama did, primarily economic achievements of the president. He did take he took credit for the Veterans Choice Law that Barack Obama signed into law in 2012. He talks about the coronavirus response in a dazzling way, and it's almost as if there was a chyron running on CNN as Donald Trump was giving his speech, and he was saying, "We are going to crush this virus," and he was sort of boasting about his administration's response to the coronavirus. And as this boasting is going on, the chyron along the bottom half of the screen on CNN was touting the numbers, which are astronomical. We're leading the world in deaths and cases. We do not have a handle on the virus. We have over 180,000 people dead. And so that was bizarre, to say the least. He talked about job gains and how this administration is responsible for 9 million jobs over the last few months, but that totally fails to look at the bigger economic picture. So more than 50 million Americans have claimed unemployment since the outset of the coronavirus pandemic, and that the gross domestic product of the United States has contracted by a third. So this is just an alternate reality. It's just lies, and very disturbing for people who pay attention to facts. We've got a comment that says, the speech and everything is blah, bro, bow ties. Those are the big story. I used to be a bow tie wearer myself, but you got to change it up. I'm traumatized by Tucker Carlson. So Peter Bittner says, good morning. Good morning, Peter. So we're talking about Donald Trump's speech at the RNC and the litany of lies that just kind of he exhaled with such ease. So it was sort of disturbing for people who pay attention to context and truth. Let's see. So he claimed that Biden is for defunding the police, and I'll note that he really went in on Joe Biden and attacked him in a way that was really forceful. So yeah, Biden has said he's not for defunding the police, of course, and he's not for confiscating guns the way that Trump alleged in his speech last night. He kept referencing Joe Biden's 47 years of public service as if it was a bad thing, but blaming bad trade deals like NAFTA on him and boasting about his own Donald Trump's U.S., Canada, Mexico trade deal that he signed. But even that U.S.-Mexico trade deal, the way that he's touting it is like alternate reality, because the U.S.-Mexico trade deal that Donald Trump signed and was able to arrange is really keeping in place most of the NAFTA provisions that he is criticizing in these speeches. So he claimed that drug prices have gone down under his presidency. Of course, drug prices have gone up under Donald Trump's presidency. He claims that the Republicans are going to protect provisions of the Affordable Care Act that made it illegal to deny people with health insurance because of pre-existing conditions, even though one of his very first orders of business in the White House when he was elected was to try and repeal the Affordable Care Act. And the first attempt failed because of the no vote of late Senator John McCain. And there have been multiple attempts by Donald Trump and the Republican Party to get rid of pre-existing conditions, protections. So this is such a really bold and disingenuous, I'm just going to call it a flat out lie. He bragged about the coronavirus response, as I said, even though we still do not have adequate testing. He called it a hoax earlier in the year while he was golfing and was attending events and fundraisers as late as March. We are far away leading the country in the world with cases and deaths, and he was bragging about how his administration would crush the coronavirus. And I'll note again, 180,000 people dead. So he also claims that we're going to get a vaccine by the end of the year. So yeah, you are forgetting that he initiated a travel ban, says a commenter. Donald Trump claims that he initiated a travel ban during the coronavirus, but that's simply not true. These travel bans still allowed plenty of exceptions, and people were still able to travel to and from these countries that he claims to have instituted a ban on. Another comment, he's in court right now to get rid of ACA. Someone likes my teeth. Well, brush them and floss, and you too can have pearly whites. It's ridiculous. Hard fact check the amount of falsehood is ridiculous. Let's consider the term travel ban. Yeah, I would go ahead and look into the travel ban because it was not a hard travel ban, and many people were still able to travel to and from the country. There were a lot of exceptions allowed in that travel ban. Pelosi was inviting people to Chinatown when it broke out. People forget that. And curiously, this commenter is called Sputnik. So everyone pay attention. The Russian misinformation campaign is still alive and well, according to the U.S. intelligence agencies. Mackenzie Hussman, lying is well-known Trump tactic. Whatever his critics say, he will boast the exact opposite. Indeed, Donald Trump is a projector. He will project exactly the thing that he is guilty of himself and criticize you for the thing that he's guilty of in a way that's almost pathological. So if you ever want to know what Donald Trump is really thinking or feeling or doing, just pay attention to what he's saying about his opponents and adversaries. So yes, he claims that there's a vaccine coming before the end of the year, which flies in the face of what all medical experts are, because look at the crowds at his own event. In fact, I will note that former Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain died from coronavirus after becoming infected at Trump's own campaign rally, his first campaign rally of the election cycle in Tulsa, Oklahoma in late July. So I want to touch on another part of the just egregious lies that were coming out of Donald Trump. But before I do, Tipsy Tarot Talk says Sputnik, you haven't got your vaccine from Mother Russia yet? Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for looking out. Christopher Drago, as a healthcare worker, even I know there won't be a vaccine by the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, yes, all that's, and thank you for being a frontline worker, Christopher. Much love and respect to you. So let's go into one of the big final. There were a lot of lies, but this is one that I felt was personally just really shocking. And he's repeated this lie over and over again for a long time. The claim that he's done more for the African American community than any president in history since Lincoln. Now, this is an egregious and mind-numbing lie, and it's not, you can't even really chalk it up to being an opinion because it's just so brazen. First of all, Lyndon B. Johnson passed the Civil Rights Act. Here, Barack Obama was the first black president, who, by the way, I will note, Donald Trump spent years trying to impugn his presidency by claiming that he wasn't born in this country, okay? Trying to delegitimize the first black president's presidency. Harry Truman was responsible for the desegregation of the military. Trump got into office and called white nationalists at Charlottesville very fine people. During the Black Lives Matter protests, he has used really racist dog whistles of law and order and silent majority, never calling for law and order against the police officers who commit murder against people of color because of the color of their skin. And it's true that before the pandemic, there were declining unemployment rates amongst African Americans, but that's a trend he inherited from Barack Obama, that same first black president who we spent many years trying to delegitimize and claim that he was not born in this country. So then there's this behavior before taking office, which has been racist, and there's clear evidence and history of his racism. He was publicly calling for the execution of the Central Park Five. And then there, of course, was the fact that he was sued twice by the Justice Department, twice, for racial discrimination. When he got into office, he referenced African countries as shithole countries. He has 23 cabinet positions in his cabinet. Only one African American person sits in his cabinet, and that's Ben Carson. And that's just what I was able to research for a 10-minute live stream, and we're already going 3 minutes over. So the litany of lies last night were truly shocking. What did you guys think of the RNC? Does Trump's alternate reality come as a surprise to you anymore, or was last night particularly offensive? Let me know what you think. Edna says he is an ass on all fronts. And so, yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining this morning on the AM Report for HAPS News, the network of now. We are live every weekday morning at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. If you like and enjoy this journalism, please consider sponsoring it at www.haps.tv/@Alex Mohajer. I'm Alex Mohajer. It has been a pleasure.